Are you always on the lookout for music that's going to get you in the moshing mood and get you feeling a little rowdy? I always am. So today we're looking at Orbit Culture with The Storm. Okay, adding a pause right there. So one of the first things that's actually really catching my eye is more of a like pattern recognition type of thing, because I do notice with more of these European style bands and whatnot. I think Sweden is part of Europe. If anybody in the comment is actually from Sweden, let me know if I'm right or wrong on that. Freaking U.S. education system failing us at its finest, but that's a topic for another video. But music, a lot of the metal music outside of the U.S. in particular, I noticed with Orbit Culture, they seem to have almost the same stylistic pattern as almost Bullet for My Valentine. It seems only Bullet for My Valentine in their day went more of the heavy screamo route, but this feels more this feels more like it's going towards black metal, or probably not death metal in particular, but it's very close. Now I do actually enjoy a lot of this, and there's actually not a lot of bands like this that are in my current repertoire of music. But this does have a lot of energy behind it that I do enjoy, especially with the way the metal scene is being transformed now, and everything's got to be super fast, super tight, and super very tightly regulated to the point where the riffs just are transferring back and forth. But this also I don't hear a lot of riffs going on in the background, which is pretty interesting, because normally I'm the type of guy with the metal that I listen to. I like riffs. I like very long, strung out notes, and the singular notes back to back can work for a lot of music for me, but it really depends on how it's laid out. And Orbit Culture, I think, with this song in particular, is doing pretty well with it.
There is a piece of body so long.
last pause, and I'm actually going to let this play all the way through here. So I actually just thought about it a little bit more as I'm listening to it, and I'm getting a little bit more of a feel for it. They definitely give me more of almost power metal vibes. It's almost as if you took Dragon Force and you just gave them, if they did more of a darker undertone with their music, that makes sense, and less of the very heroic feeling that power metal typically does have, which it definitely works. And I do like when bands do this sort of thing where they take different bits of metal and they try to tweak the way it sounds, or they do different things with it. The best example I have for this is like Lorna Shore, for example. A lot of their older works were very what's the word I'm looking for? They had a very apocalyptic sound, but now they're starting to go more they're starting to get more of an uplifting feeling with a lot of their more recent works, such as like Glenwood, which shows that sad and somber lyrics and sad and somber music composition can work in the genre of deathcore, which I'm very happy to see. Or like Unbreakable, also a very actually uplifting song, just from the way that the lyrics sound to me, which I love when bands do this. They try new things, and that is the essence of what I think the form of art actually is trying new things, getting outside of the box, instead of just sticking to the thing that always just works every single time, because it does get repetitive after a while. So hats off to a lot of bands that are doing this now, especially the ones that are getting bigger and they're able to test and play around with their music a little bit more and figure it out. That was Orbit Culture with The Storm. Overall, freaking amazing song. I find it interesting with a lot of these. Again, I think they are. I think Sweden is a part of Europe. If I'm wrong, and correct me in the comments below, because of course you know how the U.S. is with their just so amazing education system. But regardless, they are. I just like how a lot of the bands, especially outside of the US with metal, are taking it to the next level now, and we're starting to see more of these bands get into the actual limelight with metal as a whole. And there's almost a cultural thing with with how they compose their music as well, which I do appreciate a lot. When you start getting these other cultural influences on music as a whole, which you do see this a lot, especially now with like you got like Japanese metal, and I think they're starting to do the whole metalcore thing, and deathcore, which absolutely love that genre. I'll probably be looking more into that in the future, whenever some of these Japanese bands start releasing more of the music. But either way, Orbit Culture, they freaking killed it with this song. Definitely has that power metal vibe to it that's pretty familiar to me with the works of like Dragon Force or whatever. but they also do have a dark undertone to it, which I think a lot of people in the metal scene are quite familiar with that particular sort of vibe when it comes to the just metal as a whole. Usually it's pretty somber, and honestly, when you start doing more uplifting stuff, typically it starts to sound a little cheesy, but there are bands that are pulling it off. They're finding ways to make it work, which that's also something I am also enjoying with newer rock and metal as a whole coming out, is that we're starting to get more positive and uplifting lyrics as well. But Orbit Culture, I'll be checking out more of them in the future. Definitely gonna be adding this song to my list. So if you have not heard this song yet, go ahead and give it a spin wherever you're listening to music at, because I definitely will be. And as always, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.